Hello there,
General Kenobi.
and welcome to the fourth part of our Prequel Gang podcast series. Today we're going to be talking about Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so this movie, it started off the original trilogy. This is the first Star Wars movie ever made, and back in 1977, and since then, it has seen re-releases with changes. The special edition in
Yeah.
1997, then like DVD, Blu-ray versions, those got
And now that
other
it comes to
changes.
Disney Plus, it has another change. Now Greedo says a pointless line before he gets shot.
Yeah,
He just says monkey, and there's no subtitles or anything, so we don't know what it means.
right. But we're not reviewing the Disney Plus version. At least I'm not. I'm going to be talking about the Blu-ray version. That's the version I have.
Yeah. Disney Plus is the same thing as Blu-ray, except they added that one line in that one scene.
So I'm going to be talking about the Blu-ray version. I do know about some of the changes that were made, so I might bring them to attention at some points if I know what the change was. Anyway, so the movie starts with on an Imperial starship, and we see two droids, C-3PO and R2-D2. That anyone who saw the prequels knows very well who they are.
Or any Star Wars movie ever.
Well, yeah.
They were in every Star Wars movie, weren't they?
Yeah, they were actually.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they were on the Imperial starship, and then we see the rebels fighting against some stormtroopers, which, those stormtroopers, are they like the same people as the clones from the prequels, or like some of them are?
Okay, here's how it works. Basically, when the Galactic Republic, basically the clone troopers, turned into the Empire, the stormtroopers, the clones started out as stormtroopers, but then gradually I think they became, I'm talking from the EU, by the way, so this isn't actually canon. There's not a canon version for this. This is just the most reliable source. By the way, the EU should be canon, but it's not.
According to Disney, it's not. Only according to Disney.
When I say EU, by the way, I mean Extended Universe, which is just the extra stuff.
Yeah.
According to the EU, the Empire started out with clones, but they eventually got more and more expensive. So the Empire just started gradually incorporating more and more humans into their ranks.
Yeah, like in the Force Awakens, we find out that in the sequels, the stormtroopers are just like people who are taken into the Empire when they're like babies.
Yeah, for the Empire, you're talking about the First Order. For the Empire,
yes, the First Order. Yeah.
I think they were taken in at like a young age, but maybe like they were like kind of young teenagers, and they were like, it was really more voluntary.
Okay. Well, so anyway, we see some rebels fighting against some stormtroopers, and then we see Darth Vader or Anakin Skywalker or whatever. And yeah, he's going full on dark side here, like trying to find a rebel base or something, and then C-3PO and R2-D2, like R2-D2 gets a message from Princess Leia, which apparently who is like working with the rebels, they take an escape pod down to Tatooine, and C-3PO doesn't remember anything from the prequels because he had his memory wiped at the end of Revenge of the Sith. So
that's in the chat. Well, wait, did he have his memory wiped?
Yeah, he did. Yes, he did. They ordered.
R2-D2 has a good memory.
Yeah, right. So anyway, they land on Tatooine and they kind of separate themselves, but then they get put into a big moving vehicle thingy.
Sandcrawler. No, not a. Is it? Yeah, Sandcrawler.
Okay.
I want that Lego set so bad.
Right. So they get put into this Sandcrawler, and then they're sent to some farmers.
They're sold to Luke's uncle. They're sold to Luke Skywalker's uncle.
Yes, Luke Skywalker's uncle. Yes, that's right. I don't know why I couldn't think of what was going on. But anyway, they were sold to Luke Skywalker's uncle, and
And that's when we hear the line, but I was going into Tashi Station to pick up some power converters.
yeah, that's a pretty cool line.
Yeah.
It's funny. Anyway, um, so they go into C-3PO and R2-D2, they go into Luke's house, uh R2-D2 plays the message that Leia sent. She was like, "Help me, Obi-Wan
Help me,
Kenobi.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
You're
You're my only hope.
So Luke starts thinking, who's this Obi-Wan Kenobi? Maybe she means old Ben Kenobi. And yeah, so
So R2-D2 runs off, and then
right.
basically Luke and C-3PO go and find him, and then they get attacked by Tusken Raiders or Sand People,
Yeah.
and Obi-Wan rescues them, and then he says hello there.
And then for some reason, no one responds with General Kenobi.
I know, right? Well, maybe R2 might have beeped General Kenobi. We just don't understand what R2 says.
Yeah. Like that's what we should see in like Disney Plus if that ever happens, you know.
Yeah, there should just be, when he says hello there and R2 beeps, there should just be subtitles that say General Kenobi.
Right. So then Luke recognizes him as old Ben Kenobi, and then Obi-Wan says like that he is Obi-Wan Kenobi.
That's the
And
name I've not heard in a long, long time.
so this Obi-Wan, do you know him? Is he a relative of yours? Well, of course I know him. He is me.
Love that meme.
Yeah, so this whole beginning section, I always found it to be, it's like,
Kind of slow.
yeah, it is kind of
honestly.
slow, honestly. Like it's not the most exciting thing ever. I mean, I get it.
But it really,
It's the
it
first
develops
thing.
character. I
Yeah,
think
it
it
does
was
develop
cut.
some characters. Yeah,
I
like
think after the first release, George Lucas basically like the first release was George Lucas just showed the movie to a bunch of his friends who were like directors and producers and stuff, and so they hated that opening scene because there was just like so many pointless scenes.
well,
Like you wouldn't believe
yeah,
it. There was just so many scenes that did nothing for the plot.
right. Yeah. So anyway, I think that this opening scene is kind of slow. Like we didn't need like 10 minutes of just C-3PO and R2-D2 wandering around before they meet Luke, but
Yeah,
um, like other
I
than
mean
that, it's okay.
maybe just a bit where like they decide to go off into separate directions, and
Yeah.
then like R2D2 gets captured by the Sand People, and that. I think that should be it for that scene. And then they meet up in the Sandcrawler, and that should be it for that like sequence of events.
Yeah. So anyway, they show Obi-Wan the message, and he Obi-Wan recognizes her as Princess Leia, and that she's like aboard the Death Star or something, and he doesn't tell Luke that she's his sister for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, that would have been helpful to know earlier. They kiss in episode 5.
Chill, Kenny. We're not at that movie yet. We're talking about episode 4 here.
I know, but still, you should have told him, Ben. You should have told him, so he didn't have to kiss his sister.
Yeah. Anyway, so then they go, they kind of talk, and then Luke goes back to his house only to find that his house has been like practically completely destroyed, and
And
his
his
aunt and
uncle
uncle
got
are
killed.
dead. What?
F in the chat.
Yeah, F in the chat or something like that.
Guys, comment F on the video. Just comment the letter F.
I will. Anyway,
No, I'm talking to the viewers, not just you. I'll comment it. You should comment it. Just everyone comment the letter F. Press F to pay respects.
right. Anyway, back to what we were saying. At that point, Luke basically says that he's ready to go to help Obi-Wan with whatever he needs help with, like that he's ready to that he will that he wants to learn the ways of the Force and everything. And Obi-Wan shows Luke his father's lightsaber. That's Anakin's lightsaber from
Yeah,
Episode 3. That in fact, in
for the
Episode 3,
record.
right after Obi-Wan and Anakin were finished fighting, Obi-Wan actually grabbed Anakin's lightsaber. That's like the lightsaber that he gives Luke.
Yeah. You know, fun little Star Wars fact. They had to cut so many costs on budget for the Star Wars movie. They made the first lightsaber, like Luke's lightsaber, or Anakin's lightsaber, whatever you want to call it. Not Rey's lightsaber though; it's not hers. But they made the first lightsaber out of like a part of a camera and like some electrical equipment and stuff, and it cost a grand total of $11
I
to
mean,
make.
at least it's cheap.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
Fun
what
fact time
matters.
is over. What were you saying?
I said at least it was cheap, but anyway,
Yeah.
they basically go. They need a spaceship, so they go to what Obi-Wan says is the Mos Eisley spaceport, and
No, he says it's the most wretched hive of scum and villainy in the
yes,
galaxy.
right. It says like Mos Eisley spaceport. You will never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy. Uh, and then they go there, and like then like they enter the spaceport, and then like apparently now it's known as the cantina or something.
Well, no. Here's the cantina is in the spaceport. It's just a cantina. Like, take this example. If you go to an airport and like there's a bar in the airport, you don't call the airport the bar. There's
Oh,
just a bar.
oh, so the spaceport was like the whole thing. Okay, I got a little
Yeah,
confused
and then the
there.
cantina is just like a little
It's
like
just
part
like
of the space.
small building thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's where we meet. That's where we meet Han Solo, and Chewie, his friend who is what's known as a Wookiee, and then we have the whole conversation between Han and Greedo. And okay, here's the thing: the original version of the movie, the original 1977 VHS tape, Han shoots. What?
We'll upload the debate onto this channel.
No, Kenny.
All right, whatever. Never mind.
Let's not. Honestly,
Okay, one of the two shoots first.
Han
You know
shot.
that.
Han shot first. Let's like
Okay. Yeah.
like as far
Han shot
as
first.
what?
No, never mind. Just you
Yeah.
talk.
All right, original 1977 release. Han just shoots Greedo right after he says, "Yeah, I bet you have," and then basically he shoots. Greedo dies. Then in like every following release, they change it slightly. In the 1997 special edition, they kind of shoot, and it's like kind of
They
a
shoot out like the
significant-
same time.
No, they
And
don't.
like,
No, like the 1997 special edition,
oh,
it's,
1990.
they don't really shoot at the same time. Like Greedo clearly shoots first, then like not sure how
Oh,
it is
yeah.
in like the DVD version, but on the Blu-ray, they pretty much shoot at the same time. And
Yeah.
that's not much. That's not really significant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I forgot to mention on the way over to the cantina, they they go on Luke's speeder bike, and then we see a whole bunch of like CGI creatures there, and they're like they don't really add much, but also what is important though is that Obi-Wan does the Jedi mind trick with some stormtroopers, and you know it's pretty good.
Yeah. And that's the first time we see that ever. So
Yes.
yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So
Anyway, basically, they get in Han's ship, and like some stormtroopers are just like, "Hey, don't go!" And so they start shooting at them. Yada yada yada. They
well,
take
no,
off.
before they go into Han's ship, we have the scene with Jabba.
Oh yeah, that was added. So whatever.
Well, yeah,
Basically,
that was added, but we are.
Jabba's just talking to Han, and he's just like, "You owe me money," and then Han's just like, "I'm gonna get the money," and that's
Yeah.
pretty much all you got to know about that.
Right.
But yeah, they basically get to Alderaan, and whoa, it's not there. This is an asteroid field.
Yeah,
We're
but before
Alderaan used
that,
to.
we have a scene where Darth Vader actually tries to convince Princess Leia
Yeah, good point.
to like tell him where the rebel base is, and like if she
And-
doesn't, she'll blow up Alderaan.
So
she
she
gives
does.
She tells
It's on
him
that.
where the rebel base is, and then he just blows up Alderaan anyway. Like, what the Anakin? What are you doing? You're blowing up your daughter's home planet. What? Why?
Well, I don't. I think that was Grand Moff Tarkin's decision, not Vader's,
Well,
because Grand Moff
still.
Tarkin is actually like higher up in terms of power than Vader.
Is he now? I don't think that's ever specified in the movie.
Yeah, it is.
Is
Cause
it?
well, I mean, it's assumed that he has authority over Vader because you see him in the one scene where all the generals are like talking. He's like, "Stop that, Vader! That's enough! Like, stop choking that guy." That was a really bad Grand Moff Tarkin impression.
Yeah.
But
But still.
yeah,
Like.
you may fire when ready. There we go. That's better.
Right. So, I still don't know why they decided to blow up the planet anyway. Like that wasn't necessary.
I don't know. When you blow up an entire planet, just to spite one person.
It's like I heard a million voices cry out and were suddenly silenced.
F in the chat for everyone on Alderaan.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically they get there and then they're just like they see a small moon, but it turns out that moon was actually the Death Star, the
That's
weapon
no
that was
moon.
used to...
It's a space station.
Yeah, it turns out that space station was the Death Star, the weapon that they used to blow up Alderaan.
Yeah.
So basically,
that's the thing.
fast forward, Millennium Falcon gets like sucked in by that tractor beam of the Death Star. And I don't know why they call it a tractor beam. That's just kind of a ridiculous name.
I don't know.
But basically, and then they go in, they like hide in some smuggling cabinets
Yeah.
in the floor of the Millennium Falcon. And
Right.
then some like stormtroopers come on, so they beat up the stormtroopers and take their armor. And then now they're disguised as stormtroopers.
Yeah, and one really funny conversation that happens is when Han was like calling some of the other stormtroopers. He's like, yeah, everything's all right here. Yeah, we're all good. Who is this? What's your number? And then he just shoots the thing. It was like boring conversation anyway. Yeah, that was a that was a fun moment.
Well, that happened after they rescued Princess Leia.
Yes. Right. So
but
they basically.
In the meantime, basically, Luke Skywalker becomes the world's fastest talking man of the time, and I'll show you that in a second. I'm actually just pulling up the clip. Keep talking in the meantime about what happened.
So anyway, Obi-Wan basically is trying to disable the tractor beam while everyone else is supposed to stay in this like one room, but then they actually decide to go save Princess Leia, and they do. And then like they kind of get caught by some stormtroopers, and like they like go down into like this garbage chute thing, and like the walls start closing in. Meanwhile, C-3PO and R2-D2 are still in that control room, and Luke was like trying to talk to C-3PO on a walkie-talkie. He's like, "3PO, what are you doing? Like, turn off the thing." And meanwhile, C-3PO was like, "Oh, I turned the walkie-talkie off. I hope they're not." And he's like, "3PO, turn off the thing." And R2-D2 is like turning it off. And then meanwhile, he actually turns it off in time. But then they're like screaming because they're like they're screaming in joy, and C-3PO's like, "Oh no, R2-D2, they're dead. What have we done?"
Okay.
Yeah,
they're going.
And then Luke is like, "No, we're alive. You did great."
F. Oh, what? Since when does Mark Hamill? Oh my god.
What?
I'm just trying to find it because the original, like, he posted a thing on his Instagram about how he's talking really fast. So I'm trying to find that, and he's just posting a ton of stuff about Kobe Bryant.
Fun fact: when Mark Hamill was acting as Luke Skywalker in A New Hope, he has never seen a Star Wars movie before.
No way, really?
It's like I saw that meme one time, and I was like, "Yeah, no, of course."
Oh
But
God,
you know,
Mark.
what?
Nothing. Just don't go on Mark Hamill's Instagram. It's weird. Ah, found it. Okay. Just listen to how fast he's talking here.
Okay.
Ready? Wait, where's the speaker on my computer? Whatever.
I don't really hear it.
'Cause it's not playing yet.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to execute her. Look, a few minutes ago you said you didn't want to just wait here to be captured. Now all you want to do is stay? Marching into the detention area is not what I had in mind. But they're going to kill her. Better her than me.
Oh my god, he talks so fast. Honestly.
I don't remember him talking that fast, but okay.
I know. I think they probably like slowed it down so it was more understandable.
Yeah.
You get the point. Basically, Death Star sequence, not much happens except they rescue Princess Leia. Basically,
I actually really like what happens in the Death Star. I think it's like a lot of very fun stuff.
Oh yeah, and then spoiler alert: least epic lightsaber battle of all time.
Yeah,
not
the
epic.
lightsaber battle was pretty bad. Like basically,
Yeah.
it's just like
They touch lightsabers a couple times.
they
And that's
talk a little bit, and then Obi-Wan just kind of gives up, and Darth Vader kills
Yeah.
him.
And then he turns into a Force Ghost, second ever Force Ghost.
Yes.
Everybody.
Actually, I think we forgot to talk about something. Hold on. I forgot. Wait, hold up. So yeah, everything that happens in the Death Star, I think it's fun. Like I think it's a little bit drawn out at times, but like overall, it's fun. And also, the stormtroopers, they have a reputation for not being able to aim, but like
No,
apparently
they don't. They really don't.
But apparently,
What?
Apparently, in the beginning of the movie, like Darth Vader said that that he wants the rebels alive or something. I don't know why, but
Them alive.
like I don't know
Wait,
why he wanted them alive, but he did.
Well, because he
apparently.
wants. No, he just wanted Princess Leia alive so that they could they could interrogate her, which
Right.
obviously they did.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So anyway, then after that, that's when the movie tries to be very climactic, but then
it was
it's
pretty
just-
climactic, honestly.
But then
Because,
it just ends up being boring.
Well, no, it's not that boring when you think about it. Because
It is.
first of all, you forgot about the TIE Fighter battle, which was like basically once they escape the Death Star, they send out like honestly a pitiful amount of TIE Fighters. They send out like 5 TIE Fighters. When you think of like how many TIE Fighters are probably actually stored in the Death Star, it's kind of pathetic.
Yeah.
Like they gotta have at least 1,000 TIE Fighters in the Death Star.
Right. So anyway,
But,
some context. Like the rebels, they kind of meet together. Luke is now like with the rebels, and like they're planning to blow up the Death Star. But then Han just kind of leaves because he already got what he came for, which was money. And then he what?
Yeah,
Okay.
he got money.
So then they plan an attack to blow up the Death Star, and then the actual attack on the Death Star, like it tries to be climactic, like I said, but then
It's pretty climactic.
It is climactic when you think about it, but then in execution, it goes on for way too long. Not much actually happens until like the end, and then like it's just there's
that's
not
because
much going on.
You're comparing movies that just had better budgets to this movie.
Kenny, that's just another indicator that this movie, like, some aspects of it just don't hold up very well. So,
Oh yeah, that's because it's from like 50 years ago, Artemi.
yeah, but like,
No, 40 years ago.
well,
But still, it's a long time. Hold on. Star.
1977.
Hold on, I know. 1977. I'm trying to find out the budget.
The budget.
Yeah. Okay, they had a budget of 11 million. That's like crazy low, even for the time. Like the Emoji Movie was made with 50 million. 11 million is an extremely low budget movie. Like, here, for a comparison, I'll look up the budget of Episode 3.
of course,
Or-
Episode 3 is going to be on a much larger budget.
Yeah.
Because like by that point, Star Wars was like a very successful thing.
Yeah, exactly. So, 113 million. So
But still,
it's just amazing what they did with only $11 million.
yeah. But even then, they could have had some like better dialogue. Like again, I'll always point to the space battle at the beginning of Episode 3, where they're like even if you remove like the interactions between like the ships and stuff, you still have a lot of very good character interactions, like with the like when they're talking. Here, it's just kind of Rogue 2 standing by. I'm hit. Oh no. And then it just cuts to like the other rebels, including like Princess Leia somewhere, and then it's just more of the same.
Okay. I guess the topic's up for debate, but well, I think that's basically they.
Basically,
blow up the...
one of the other rebels, he tries to blow it up with like the computer thing, but then like he kind of fails. But then Luke actually uses the Force, as Obi-Wan kind of tells him. Like Obi-Wan's Force Ghost, like use the Force, Luke, and then turns off the computer navigation thingy. And then he basically just successfully shoots the things into the thing and blows up the Death Star.
And then Darth Vader just goes like spiraling off into the distance.
Yeah, Darth Vader escapes, so he survives.
Yeah, F in the chat for like everyone that died on the Death Star, including Grand Moff Tarkin.
Right.
But yeah, basically then they go back, they have an award ceremony, and like two of like the 50 like starfighters that they sent out return.
Yes. So anyway, actually I forgot to mention one thing. Like near the end of the whole thing of the Death Star run, Han Solo actually shows up in the Millennium Falcon and everything. And I gotta say, I actually really like the design of the Millennium Falcon. I think it's really cool. It's a great design.
I think it's a piece of junk.
Well, it's the fastest hunk of junk in the galaxy. It meant the Kessel Run in 12
parsecs. I actually like the Solo A Star Wars story design of Millennium Falcon a lot better than the OT and sequel design.
I've never seen Solo Star Wars story before, but
it's basically like you'd have to see it to understand.
Well,
but yeah,
okay, but still,
it's pretty cool.
Why would it be different in that movie?
It's cause it's newer. It's like a newer ship, and it's supposed to be like more modern because it hasn't seen like battle at all.
Well, still,
but yeah,
yeah.
And it's just
so
cleaner.
So anyway, then there's like an award ceremony where Luke and Han Solo they get a medal, but then Chewie doesn't, and that's when the movie ends. Yeah, so then the movie ends, and it was good. I think.
Oh yeah.
Like after watching the prequels, like it's like feels like a very slow-paced movie that's a little bit boring at times, but I still think that this is a good movie. Now, as for a couple of the special edition changes, they added some CGI things in like Mos Eisley spaceport and the Jabba scene.
Yeah.
And apparently, what?
I think they added a bit too much CGI. Like they kind of went overboard.
They didn't need it because like
I think
in a movie that relies so heavily on like practical effects and like not CGI, the CGI kind of looks out of place.
Yeah, it just stands out in a bad way.
But apparently they also added in a scene where Luke meets up with his friend. I think his name was Biggs. Like right before they go and blow up the Death Star.
I like that scene.
Yeah, that was a good scene. Like we know nothing about this character, but apparently I guess it adds to Luke's character. I don't know.
Yeah. And it just makes Luke seem like more human instead of like this great hero. It's like he actually has like he's a normal person. He has like friends and everything. But what was I gonna say? About the CGI. I think originally they just didn't have the Jabba scene in that movie at all, and I think they should have kept it that way because the CGI Jabba looked just awful.
Yeah, apparently what they did originally was they had like just a person playing Jabba there, and then like they
Yeah,
removed it,
Jabba
but then they
was
just
more-
kind of pasted a CGI model over the guy, and that actually Han Solo calls Jabba a wonderful human being.
Yeah.
So, you know, when you see what the scene originally looked like, it makes sense, but now Jabba's not a human being.
Originally, Jabba was just a fat guy
Yeah,
instead
So-
of a giant grotesque slug.
right.
But yeah,
Anyway, now a little bit of backstory for like me personally. The first Star Wars movie I ever saw actually was The Force Awakens. I saw it in theaters.
Oh yeah, and that
I
ruined
did
Star Wars
not-
for you. For
I
like a
didn't.
whole...
I didn't like The Force Awakens. Like
Yeah,
at
that ruined
all.
Star Wars for you for like a whole 3 years
Yeah,
before you were
like-
willing to see another Star Wars movie.
Yeah, and then like 2019, like spring of 2019, I was like, you know what? I think I should give
Yeah.
Star Wars another try. So then like
So
I
you
found
just
out
like
that
didn't
you
come up
are
to
a
me,
good
like,
are what?
didn't you just like come up to me in the hallway at school and you're just like, hey, do you want to watch Star Wars?
Yeah, I was like, kind of thinking, like I remember you saying that you like Star Wars, so I'm like, hey, you want to watch? Like, I think I want to get into Star Wars or something. So like,
Yeah,
what was the
pretty much.
first movie called again? Like The Phantom Menace or something. But then we decided to watch
Yeah.
them in release order because, and I actually didn't know that they were released in like that order, not
Yeah, you didn't.
chronologically. So like that was a surprise. But like, still, I watched A New Hope and I was like, wow, this is actually really good. This is something I really want to look
Yeah.
into. So then
Those
you know,
videos
I
get long.
watched them in release order. Then and, you know, when I watched The Force Awakens again, I was like, wow, no wonder I was not into Star Wars for 3 years.
All right, yeah. I said all I said. Do you have
Anyway,
anything to add?
yes. So, while I do think I will always have a certain level of respect for A New Hope because it got me into Star Wars, I will say that as far as the 6-movie saga is concerned, like from episodes 1 to 6, New Hope is probably my least favorite. Also, one thing, apparently, like when it was originally released, it was just called Star Wars. Like not Episode 4, not New Hope, just Star Wars.
Yeah,
But
I rate
nowadays,
this
you know,
movie.
what?
No, I rate this movie a 7 high grounds out of 6 underestimated powers.
Okay. So anyway, but nowadays, calling it just Star Wars seems a little bit weird. Like, if you asked
because-
me, hey, what's your least favorite Star Wars movie in the 6-movie saga? Oh, my least favorite Star Wars movie in the 6-movie saga is Star Wars.
Yeah, because
Does that sound
when
right
you say
to
Star
you?
Wars,
What?
people, when you say Star Wars, people are assuming you're talking about all the movies.
Yeah.
But no, I think we should end it here.
Yeah. Anyway, Star Wars, Episode 4, great movie. Hasn't really held up that well in some
No, this
areas,
video
but
is
still.
long.
What?
This video is going to be long.
Oh, I'm
Whatever.
sorry. But anyway,
Yeah.
good movie. Go see it. Perfect starting point if you want to get into Star Wars. Like, you want to get into Star Wars, you start with A New Hope. Like, that's yeah.
Okay.
Start with The Force Awakens.
Yeah. On that note, that's going to do it for this video, guys. Make sure to subscribe, leave a like if you enjoyed this video, leave 2 likes if you didn't enjoy this video. But yeah,
hit the
keep having the
bell.
high ground.
Yeah, keep having the high ground. Bye.